This is the plaintiff, Barbara Bankston. She says she gave the defendant a deposit for some catering services, but she was very unreliable and unprofessional, so she decided to go with another caterer. When she told the defendant she wanted her to return the money she gave her, the woman refused, claiming she'd already purchased supplies for the party. When she told the defendant she wanted those supplies and she paid for them, the woman told her she knew she was going to be trouble. Huh? She's suing for $500, the amount she paid the defendant. This is the defendant, Virginia. She says she's been in the catering business for 25 years, and this woman, the plaintiff, sure takes the cake. She reserved the day for the plaintiff's party, turned down 2 other parties on the same day, and just because this woman's flighty, she's not about to refund her deposit because everyone knows deposits are non-refundable. She's accused of cooking up a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff gave the defendant a deposit for catering services. The defendant got flaky. The plaintiff moved on and wants her money back. But the defendant says she turned down work for the plaintiff, so tough. It's the case of the caterer who takes the cake.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Barbara Bankston.
Yes.
You are suing Virginia. You've asked us not to mention your last name. For $500 that you put down as a down payment for a retirement party that you were having for yourself.
Yes.
All right. So tell me about the party. You were planning it how far in advance?
I was going to plan it. I started in 2017 to get things together for the party.
You are quite the planner. All right.
And I had contacted Virginia, and she was recommended to me from a friend. So I contacted her and talked to her and told her what I wanted. And then I did some changes, and I sent her a copy of the changes.
Okay. And so she gives you a quote.
Yeah, she said she didn't give me it. She said it'd be probably around 2,000, maybe more.
For how many people?
For 200.
Okay.
And it was like, I think because I wrote it down on a piece of paper,
All
like
right.
$8
So she
per
tells
person.
you it's probably going to be about 2,000, and then you decide that that's a good deal or
Yes.
that you want to do it.
Yes.
And you put down a down payment.
I gave her $500.
Okay. And then why am I here? What went wrong?
Well, she, the day we were supposed to meet for me to sign the contract, I went to her house.
Are you two from the same town?
Yes.
Okay. So when you
Yes.
go to her house, that entails a drive of how long?
15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I went to her house. I called her because we had decided to meet that morning.
Do you have any texts back and forth from around that time?
Yes.
May I see
do.
them?
That was the beginning of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you're both going back and forth on the date. You decide that Sunday would be better,
Right.
and you're deciding that on Friday. And you set it for around noon. And then at 12:05, there's a text from her to you saying, "I'm sorry, I'm still at church." Had you called her?
Yes, I called her on the phone. I was standing on her porch.
Okay. And she texts, "Sorry, I'm still at church." That's kind of odd because you had an appointment. What happened? You forgot about it, or?
I went to a program and I didn't realize the program was going to last that long.
So your intent was to do what? Just be a little bit late?
Right.
How far is church from your home?
About 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, I would expect a little lengthier of a message if you're under these circumstances, because you know in your head you need to step out and make a phone call because someone's heading to your house. Did you forget? Because there's a clock on your hand and the program's taking too long. Don't you know you have an appointment, or did it slip your mind?
It slipped my mind.
Okay.
The
All
time
right. So I would
frame did.
expect a text that sounds more like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I'll be there," and I expect that much, right?
There was one after that, yeah.
Well, the one after that is from her to you saying, "Okay, well, I'm going to a wake this afternoon. We'll have to meet later in the week." And then you say, "Okay, sorry for any inconvenience. I forgot about this program. I usually go to 8 a.m. service." And that's the end of it. So with your text back to her, "We'll have to meet later in the week," it doesn't sound like it's that big a deal. But then 4 days later, you send her a text saying, "Good morning. I thought," is it 4 days later?
It's
2 days later. "Good morning. I thought maybe you would reach out to me yesterday since I was trying to do business with you. September will be here before you know it, so I decided to go in a different direction. I'll need a refund." What happened? Okay, we'll meet later on this week.
Well, because I thought she would contact me like later on that day, on Sunday, and say, hey, I apologize. I forgot about the program.
Yeah, you kind of
let's
owed her.
reschedule.
Can I just tell you that was kind of rude? If someone's standing on your doorstep and you're not there because it slipped your mind, I would expect you to at least reach out and say, I feel so bad about this morning. It would, because this is a very personal thing. And obviously her retirement, I might say there, like I might approach my retirement saying, hey, it's my last day, what happened? But that's not how she's approaching it. This is very meaningful for her. And she's planning something well in advance, and there's a personal touch there. So that's why. So I kind of don't like that. But she then responds, I misunderstood your message. You said you would get back to me later. That was the last message I got. Then it's not quite what she said. She did say we'd have to meet later this week. So I guess she was expecting you to initiate that since you're the one who didn't show up for the meeting. That sounds reasonable, right?
Well, considering the fact the last message I got from her was stating that she was going to get back with me.
No, the last message, I'm going to read it. Let's see.
It's not on her phone, it's on my phone. She said
let me see your phone.
It's on my
But what
phone,
she
too.
said was, I'm going to a wake this afternoon. We'll have to meet later in the week. That's all it says. It doesn't say she's going to get back to you.
There's an auto reply that
The auto reply is I'm driving. Oh, I see. The auto reply is what you got that threw you off.
Right.
So you think, do you know what auto reply is?
I know now.
You know now.
I don't have that on my phone, so.
So if you hire somebody and they blow off the first meeting, can you cancel the contract and get your money back?
Absolutely.
Why do you say?
This is why you should do the third payments when you do any kind of contracting work. You do one.
Fair point. But do you get whatever you gave them back and cancel the contract if they blow off the first meeting?
It should be. Yeah.
Why do you say?
Just because they didn't fulfill their part of the agreement.
Well, they could say, hey, it was just one meeting. I'll come next time.
I don't know if you could get your deposit back, but you can cancel the contract, because why would you spend your money on someone who's flaky?
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
So now what ends up happening is a series of texts back and forth between you guys where it kind of gets nasty.
Well,
And it kind of gets nasty quickly. Next thing you know, I'm going to call the Better Business Bureau, and then at some point you send her a copy of licensing requirements because you're trying to strong her into giving you back. In fact, you get kind of nasty because at one point what you say, and this is what black people get a bad reputation and don't deal with other black people while conducting business. What's that about?
Because, they say we should patronize, our own people.
Right.
For business.
Right.
And that's why I was doing that.
No, but why were you saying that to her? Like, that'll show you I'm no longer going to employ black. I mean, what is that?
No, because she wouldn't return my money.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
she didn't do that because of the color of her skin. She did that because she didn't think you were entitled to it. I mean, it's kind of racist to say this is why I don't do business with black people. I mean, is that what you were saying? It's kind of what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, because that's why I said that I was very much upset at that point because I didn't sign a contract. And
let me ask you, Virginia. What is it you think is fair? Because at some point you were willing to return some of it because you thought, I don't want.
Well, right now she has filed a complaint with me with the Better Business Bureau.
Really?
She threatened to inform my landlord that I was conducting a business out of his house, which she doesn't know anything about where I cook at. I cook for large parties, and I have 2 kitchens that I cook out of. I cook in my house every day. So what are you going to tell my landlord?
That you're running a business from your apartment? She's
Right.
trying to strong arm you into. Right.
Right.
But so go on.
I don't know at this point because I'm like,
All right, I'm sitting here trying to be touchy-feely and trying to feel it, but I'm a touchy-feely right out the window. And what I've got to do is apply the law. And so it comes down to an analysis that sounds something like this. You may not have had a written contract, but you had an oral contract. And your oral contract is evidenced by the fact that you put your money down. You're trying to use every weapon in the book to try to get your money back on a deposit that is, in fact, non-refundable.
Which I wasn't informed of that.
Well, no, that's the default position. Mm-hmm. In other words, when you let money go because you want to hire somebody, that you're letting the money go. That's a deposit. So unless they tell you it's fully refundable, don't worry about it. That is the legal default position. So I'm sorry that it ended up getting so nasty, because this is a case that could have been worked out. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So after weighing all the issues, the judge finds for the defendant. And Ms. Bankston, you don't get your deposit back. Sorry.
Well,
You have learned deposits are not refundable.
well, in this case, I thought it was refundable. I hadn't signed the contract, so that was my issue.
Yeah, well, you've learned verbal contracts
Yes,
are good.
yes.
You know, what's the occasion for the party?
Retirement. I'm retiring.
Still going to have the party?
Yes, most definitely.
200 people, guests,
Yes,
big deal?
yes, the whole nine.
Okay, well,
Got a
hope this
caterer,
does-
the whole bit.
Hope this doesn't ruin it for you,
No,
okay?
it won't. It won't.
All right, well, sorry, but you're out the $500.
That's okay.
You must sign a few documents on your way out of court. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Virginia. You stand up for your rights?
Yes, sir.
You feel better?
Yes.
Okay, good. This happened very often to you?
No, not at all. First time.
First time.
Yes.
First time for everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Live and you learn.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Harvey, good lesson on deposits, right?
Okay, Doug, look, you have to have a basis to cancel the contract, and it has to be an important reason, an important breach, and in this case, the plaintiff just couldn't prove it. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.